My name is Patty Thomas, and I am the director of the video that I'm responding to. And I've asked for your story, so I thought it's only fair that I tell you my story. I'm 54 years old, and I live in Las Vegas now. I'm a teacher at a community college, and I love my body in a way that I never dreamed possible 20 or 30 years ago. I started the war with my body at age 10 when I went on my first diet. I gained 10 pounds after going through puberty and freaked out, and my mother freaked out. And I started my little odyssey of gaining and losing weight that lasted until I was 43 years old, almost 44. I was very successful several times. In fact, I'm a success story at a bariatric clinic in New Orleans. I lost 130 pounds at one point in my life. And there's a lot about my story that I could tell, and in fact, it took a whole book to tell it. I authored a book called Taking Up Space with my husband, Carl Wilkerson. But suffice it to say that it was a long trip to acceptance. And I know that it takes time because it took time for me. The first time I was introduced to the idea of fat acceptance and the idea that maybe it wasn't the best idea to try to lose weight if your body was naturally larger was in 1994. In 94, I had a therapist who introduced the idea to me, and a professor. I was going to school in undergrad, and I was taking a course called Women's Bodies, Women's Minds. And in that course, I wrote a little booklet called Before and After, which was a set of poetry and essays about being fat. And I also found a Usenet group called Big Folks, I believe. And that was the first time I met other people who thought differently about the question of weight and body and so forth. But it wasn't until 2001, January 2001, that I actually stopped dieting. I spent the next 6 years fighting a lot of problems. In 1997, I became chronically ill. I was misdiagnosed, it turns out, as having lupus. I went on medication. I had a hard time. And during that time, I gained a lot of weight. The reason I say misdiagnosed is I now know that I had hypothyroidism. And the weight gain was a symptom that everybody ignored because I was a larger person, and so everybody just assumed that I was eating more and exercising less, and nobody paid attention to that symptom. And that's one of the problems of concentrating on weight instead of health. But today I'm here to celebrate, so I won't go off on my soapbox on that. And here's what I want to celebrate. In January 2001, literally in a on-the-road epiphany, on the way back from a TOPS meeting, Take Off Pound Sensibly, in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, I pulled off the side of the road and said to myself, you know what? If I really, really believe that it's okay to be fat, I've got to stop dieting. And I decided right then and there that I was just going to be the healthiest fat person I could be, instead of worrying about being thin. And I have not dieted since January 2001. My weight has stabilized. I've weighed pretty much the same for the last 10 years. I was sick in 2003. It went down a little bit, but I came right back up to the level that I was at. And during the last 10 years, I have had more creativity, more fun, have done more projects and succeeded at more things than I ever did before. Since 2001, I finished my PhD. I've written a book. I've co-hosted a radio show. I've co-hosted a project where we went out and traveled around the country. I've co-owned several businesses. I currently teach. I currently work as a freelance writer. I currently co-own a multimedia business. I'm an expert blogger at Psychology Today. I mean, it's just one thing after another has happened. Now, it hasn't been easy. I don't want to say that it has been easy to succeed at these things, but I do know one fact that's really important, and that is that if I had spent my time trying to lose weight during all the last 10 years and waiting until later to do anything, that none of these things would have gotten done. And that's what I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate the fact that I no longer wait. I no longer put things off until I'm a different me. I'm happy in the skin I'm in, and I love doing the things I do. Do I want to do more? You betcha. But I'm not going to wait for some day when I'm perfect to do it. It's a tyranny. It's a tyranny that I suffered under for a very long time. And I'm happy to be free, and I hope others will take this time to reflect on their lives and celebrate their freedom. Thank you.